Hello, everybody. Great Saturday morning to you guys, and welcome to My EdTech Life. I am Fonz, your host. You can find me on Twitter at TechTeacher1381, and I appreciate you guys being here today on this amazing show where we have James Davis from Wakelet joining us from, I guess, something that we always say or you hear from across the pond. So I'm very thankful that James took time out of his day to be here with us to share the amazing things that Wakelet is doing, talk to us about their community event that they just recently held, and share with us a couple of updates that Wakelet will be doing. So I'm really excited to have you here, James. Thank you for accepting the invitation to be here on My EdTech Life. So just in case, viewers, if there's anybody out there that is not sure what Wakelet is or who James is, I'm going to go ahead and let James introduce himself to you, and then that way we can be properly acquainted and we can go ahead and continue on with our show. So James, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks Alfonso for inviting me onto the show. We obviously met a while ago, we'll go into that in a bit, but yeah, thank you so much. Hello everyone, good morning or good afternoon over here in the UK. I'm James, I'm part of the team here at Wakelet. And we're set up in Manchester, England, where I'm sat right now. It's very, very rainy today. I was telling Alfonso it was sunny early in the week, but that's what England's like. So yeah, my official role at Wakelet is head of community, which is a really fun role. It basically just means I get to look after all of the amazing community members and ambassadors from all over the world, helping them kind of run sessions, share Wakelet with other people, and kind of help them get the most out of Wakelet. So I must say I enjoy my role a lot at Wakelet.
Awesome. Excellent, James. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, you see James there, James at JBD Biz, because he's all about the biz. You can follow him on Twitter, and he is great. The rest of the team is great. Every single one of them will be more than happy to help you out with any questions that you may have. So thank you for joining us on YouTube. Thank you for joining us on Periscope. And again, if you have your questions, go ahead and pop them in, and James and I will be more than happy to make sure that we leave no question unanswered, no stone unturned, to help you start your Wakelet journey if you haven't done so yet. So James, just a quick backstory, and I want to share this with the audience, the way that James and I first met. James and I first met about the fall of 2018, I believe it was the fall of 2018. I had just started a master's program, and one of the courses was on how to become a connected educator and learning how to curate information. So they gave us a book, we're reading through our books, and they give us, some platforms that are still used today, but none of them really seemed to fit what I was needing to do or what I was wanting to do as far as creating curated collections so I can submit as assignments. So by doing research, I stumbled upon Wakelet, and I was like, well, what's this? And then first of all, it was free. And I always say, if it's free, it's for me. So that was a great start. But then when I saw how easy it is to create a collection and how easy it is to bring articles and links and PDFs, and at the time, it didn't have some of the awesome features that we do have now that we're thankful because you guys listen to educators. But I got a hold of James, and we were talking. He called me up. We were going to have a video call. And so there I am driving home. It was raining. It was cold because it was the fall here in Texas. And so then I pull over into a Starbucks just so I can get some better Wi-Fi or internet connection. And we must have talked maybe for about an hour. And, I got to know him. He got to know me. He got to hear, he listened, which is great. Whenever you have a platform that you have the representation there willing to take time to listen, to see what your needs are, because in the end, that's going to help them develop their product as well. We were there for about an hour, almost close to an hour, just talking, and we just hit it off. And since then, it's just been a great relationship. And even though it's been distant, got to meet him at TCEA last year, face to face. So that has been great. And I must say that Wakelet has done amazing things in promoting the educator community, the EdTech community, because of the great way that we're able to have our resources in hand and sharing them to do our jobs the best that we can, because ultimately our goal is to help our students become better. So thank you, James, for that. And I just wanted to throw that in there because it's something that is near and dear to my heart, that, because it's personal. And that's what I love about Wakelet, that it is personal. So thank you for that, James. So let's go ahead and get started a little bit here, just understanding Wakelet a little bit more. So James, as Wakelet first started, was the vision, what was the vision of Wakelet when it initially started?
Yeah, of course. So just a bit of kind of an overview of Wakelet. If you don't know what it is, it's a content curation platform. It's completely free to use, as Alfonso said, which puts a lot of smiles on teachers' faces. And we basically just allow you to organize the internet. The internet's a crazy place full of amazing content and resources, and Wakelet just allows you to collect them, save them, and organize them into what we call collections. So you can make it around a certain topic, and you can add anything from the web. That could be a YouTube video, it could be a document, it could be literally an article, a blog, a video, a tweet, anything from the web you can grab and put into Wakelet. So yeah, starting out, the idea wasn't necessarily for education solely. Jamil, our founder and CEO, there's kind of three main reasons why he set up Wakelet. First of all, he was a student at the University of Salford, which is near Manchester. And he constantly, as we all know, as educators and students, we have so many tabs open. We're doing a lot of research around certain topics, certain research tasks, and you just end up with so many tabs and you want to save them all. And at the time, he was saving them into Word documents because he wanted to save them. At the time, he thought, this is perfect for me. I just want to add my own links in there, add my own notes, some images, and click save. It's privately for me. That worked. Secondly, he then went to travel after university, and he went to some amazing places that I'm pretty jealous of. One of the main ones was New Zealand that he talks about. And when he came back after a year or so, he was getting asked so many questions about where he went, why he went, what did he do, what did he see? And he was like, okay, what I'll do, I'll put together like a nice montage of what I did. So he went to Google and typed in New Zealand or the certain places he went to, and he was faced with just thousands of results. He put blogs, videos, all this type of content that was really good content, but wasn't the stuff he wanted to pull together. So eventually he looked through all these links, gathered the best ones, and put them again into a Word document. The problem with the Word document was, though, that it was, once you saved it, you have to like resave it to then send it again by email. Sometimes the documents were too big, so you couldn't send them via email, and all sorts. And then the other thing is, he didn't want to blog it. He didn't want to make it fully public. He kind of wanted just like a unlisted view, which we have on Wakelet, of course, that he wanted to just send to a certain amount of people, so they could view what he was doing, and it'd just be like family members and friends. So that was a bit of an issue for him. And then lastly, I think this is like the straw that broke the camel's back. When he was a businessman, he worked at Airbus, high up in Airbus, and he was running a department. And a lot of the kind of stakeholders were asking him about his certain projects. And what he was doing was amazing, but when you typed it in on Google, it just got drowned out by the noise. So what he'd had to do, again, he went there, spent days and days and days pulling these links out of whether it's like a video, it could have been a testimonial from a customer, it could have been a news clipping from an article. So he just saved them onto a Word document again. And he's actually got this Word document still around it that he shares all the time. And it's literally got a title, link. He had his own notes in there. And again, he wanted to send that to people, but it just didn't make any sense because he'd save it and send it, and then he'd have to redo it and send it again. So he just wanted a place to organize all this content for whatever means necessary, whether it's for travel, personal life, student, or in business. He just wanted a place to gather all this content, put it into different categories. And sometimes you want to keep it private, sometimes you want to keep it unlisted to send to certain people, and sometimes you want to make it fully public for everyone to see. And that is where the dream of Wakelet started.
That's excellent. That's a great story. And I think we can all relate a little bit to that, as educators, and before now, these great platforms that make things so much easier to share now, because nowadays it's all about sharing content. And I've had the honor and privilege to, meet, people from the UK in the global GEG group that I'm part of, and the ability to be able to share information, share content, and collaborate in a global level is something that is amazing. And I can see that doing that in a Word document and putting all those links in there. And like you said, it maybe for some eyes, not for others, and so on and so forth. And so I think, what you've done, or what Wakelet has done with their platform is something that has been great, because even us as educators, we have control of what we get to share, and obviously what we share with our students, because we want to make sure that we have a one-stop shop where our students can easily just open up a collection and they can go ahead and collaborate on that collection, have a running blog, a podcast, things of that sort. And you've got a project. And what I love about it is there's evidence of learning. So it becomes a collaborative effort. You get to see different points of view, and every student gets to build up that confidence, where many times students don't want to participate in class for reasons, maybe language barriers are an issue. I know in our demographic area, being a teacher, I had a lot of students that English was not their first language. So a lot of times they were scared to participate out loud. But when I was able to give them a project hands-on through a Google slide, sometimes those students spoke loud and clear and shared with me their knowledge that they had, but they were just being very shy because of the language. Here, everything's put together in one collection, and students build up that confidence. You get to know things about one another, and it just makes it a great tool for that. And myself now in my position is just the ability to grab content from Twitter. I can grab content from the internet. I can grab articles, PDFs, things of that sort. And I can grab other collections and things of that sort. And now I have them where I can come back and do some curation of my own, and then get what it is that I like, do a little mixed bag, and see what works for me. So that way I can go ahead and share with my learning community as well. So it's just something that is amazing. So thank you for all of that. And thank you for everything that you do. And most importantly, I want to talk a little bit more here. Like you said, it all started as sharing. And I know I kind of made that segue now into education. And, now that you see the educator feedback, what has Wakelet been surprised by that? Is it something that just happened organically, or tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, kind of a mixture of all of that. When we started out, like with Jamil's kind of examples there were obviously a few more that influenced his making of Wakelet. But Wakelet was made for people who want to organize the resources and content they find on the web. It was made because at the minute, the internet is ruled by the robots. If you search a search on Google, algorithms pull up the best content. How do they know it's the best content? For a human, there's no emotion to it. There's no kind of narrative context to it. Whereas what we want to do is, our motto is, the humans are coming. Wakelet was made for the humans to take control of that content. Take those links that are buried on page 10 of Google, but they're the best for your students. You go and grab them and put them into your collection. So that's where the motto came from, if you didn't know. And for educators, like I said, Wakelet is made for anyone who wants to organize and save all of these links from the web. So educators fit straight into that category. Obviously, Jamil was a student himself, so that's why he thought of it. But all walks of life, all different people want to save this content, and now they can with Wakelet. So that's why it was made. Were we surprised by educators using it? No. Were we surprised how vocal educators were? Yes. Honestly, I've been here about 3.5 years at Wakelet. I'd probably say around 2.5 years ago, so a year into my time at Wakelet, we saw a massive spike in the use of teachers using Wakelet. Before that, we were used by everyone. When the community first started, we had librarians, teachers, students, of course, but also we had a US rapper, hip hop rapper in there. We had some rugby players, soccer players, CEOs of companies, literally a whole bag, a mix of people, which is what we absolutely loved and what we love about our community right now. So yeah, we're not surprised that educators came along in the end and started using Wakelet. But when they did, what we loved so much was the feedback that was given. So I always say it was amazing to work with, and it still is to work with, some athletes who use Wakelet, but they'll keep it to themselves most of the time. Whereas educators will go and shout about the product and tell other people. What we love about the community so much is it's just so positive. Everything, you want to help each other. And I think that's just the nature of teachers in general. Like I always say, and I have a joke with everyone, that sharing is caring. And it truly is. Like in this community more than ever, educators in general, you just love to share new things, whether that's Wakelet, whether it's just a resource. And I think that's why it's resonated with teachers and educators so much, because Wakelet is exactly made for sharing. So yeah.
That's excellent. And I do agree with you. Sharing means caring. And I've always been a big proponent of that and sharing resources. And, you know, for teachers, I just love seeing, and especially after your community event that we'll talk about right now shortly, but just, you know, how many people are just going out there, maybe sometimes getting outside of their box that, you know, maybe barely knowing what Wakelet is, but getting out there and creating their first collections and proudly showing them off. And then what I love about it is just the reaction of everybody that just applauds them. Like we're happy, we're ecstatic because we see what Wakelet can do, and we'll continue sharing with them. And especially during this time where, I mean, we were confined to our homes, very difficult to share things, you know, oftentimes, but then you have these great collections of some wonderful educators, wonderful ed tech specialists, people from, like you said, from a mixed bag of everybody being able to create their collections, share them, and just, you know, get that information out there. And so it's just been great because I love that those collections can be very personal to you. Like, you know, your secret recipes, you know, you have a list of Christmas gifts that you can do. You've got your, you know, best gifts, Black Friday lists of where the deals are. You can make a list or Wakelet collection out of anything really that is of interest to you. And I think that's what gives it that personal touch as well. And then that you can go ahead and share it within your group or share it with the world, because in the end, somebody's going to have that interest too as well. So it's just been great to be able to see that. And of course, one thing that I love to highlight is just the like you said, the community is just great. You know, you've got people like Randall Sampson, you've got Brandy Reams, you've got, I call her Jersey from Kersey. That's so she's out there, and a lot of other fine educators that are doing some great things. And in the community event, they shared some wonderful stuff. And just before we continue, I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Randall Sampson himself. Check it out. Representing Texas
He'll love that.
Randall, the eyes of Texas are upon you, my friend. So just wanted to share that with you. And for all the other UT Longhorn Wakelet fans also, thank you guys for joining us here today. All right, so James, let's go ahead and talk about now. I know the title of the show is The 5 C's, or Surfing the 5 C's with Wakelet. Let's talk a little bit about that. You know, go ahead and I know with Wakelet, talking about communication that we've, you know, has been the common theme here in sharing. We've talked about, you know, now I want to get into the critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and creation. You know, give us your thoughts on that and how Wakelet has just been able to touch on all of these pieces here.
Yeah, I think with the 5 C's and obviously the 5th C being curation, it almost like kind of umbrellas them, because you know, curation is kind of the art or the process of kind of gathering information together. Most of the time you see it in exhibitors at museums, collecting artifacts together. And then the creation on top of that is then adding your own kind of context and your own narrative to it. So it's kind of gathering all these amazing things from the web or wherever, bringing them together to make sense, reordering them, and then adding your own notes to that. So with all that I mentioned with curation, that does fit into communication, because you're communicating what this artifact may mean to you, whether it's a student doing that or an educator. Critical thinking, you have to choose in curation what to pick. There's 2 YouTube videos you want to add into your collection, and this is a task we've seen with many students doing it. What are you going to pick and why? You can explain why in your Wakelet collection, add in text as well. Creativity, we try at Wakelet to be limitless. We make sure that you can create as many collections as you want, add as many items as you want, add any item at all. We work hard on building integrations with partners and making them embed as well. And obviously you can customize a lot of things as well. So with that element, get as creative as possible. You want to throw a Flipgrid video in there, you can do. You want to make a YouTube video, you can do. If you're shy, you just want to write a piece and your skill is in writing, add a note in there, add some images, completely up to you. And then collaboration, that's a big one, right? With Wakelet, we've started out with mainly curation, and then we've built up all the way to now collaboration on Wakelet, which is a part of Wakelet, which is huge at the minute, for you to be able to collaborate on these collections you put together with your students, your fellow colleagues, your teachers, your friends, your family. With Wakelet, don't just keep it to yourself. You can actually invite other people to your collections to then start participating and creating those amazing resources and content. So yeah, I mean, the 5 Cs wasn't really an aspect of what we thought initially when Wakelet started. As we've moved more into education, people have been saying, oh, creation is the 5th C, and everyone's kind of realized, wow, the 4 Cs do fit inside of that. So yeah, creation is an important skill, I'd say, for everyone. That's how we started out explaining Wakelet. Curation is a very important skill for everyone, and especially to teach students, because it does encompass all those important C's we just mentioned.
Yeah, and like I said, I agree with you. And to me, it's just so organic. Like, I mean, you really don't think about it. I think even if, let's say you're not an educator, you've got those, like you said, athletes, you've got, artists, you've got writers that maybe are using this tool. They may not be familiar with 5 Cs, as far as the education terms, but just seems something that's so creative, because initially they're going to be sharing, they're going to be collaborating, they're going to be communicating. It's all about creativity and critical thinking as well. So it's just great that this blankets everything and everyone as they're using Wakelet as a tool. So it's just something that is amazing that I really truly enjoy that it does. And one of the things that I love about it too, as well, that Wakelet has done, that you as a company have gone and listened, is there are several platforms that teachers love that we use to engage students in class, to add that additional layer of critical thought and collaboration into our classrooms. But talk to us a little bit about the partnerships that you have established with other platforms that people may not be aware of, and then that way they know, like, say, hey, you know what, I didn't know that I can go ahead and use Wakelet within this platform or this platform. Talk to us a little bit about that, James.
Yeah, so most of the partnerships we have and we've done have been mainly with integrations and kind of adding the tools together, kind of app smashing. We saw people do this kind of before we build the integrations, and then obviously we listen to the community quite a lot. Just going back to the motto that I was saying before about the humans are coming. Yes, from a technical standpoint of the robots control the internet, we want humans to take over as well. But also from a human level as well, like we want to listen to the people who are using the platform every day. So along with that, if you have any kind of favorite tools you use and you want to app smash them with Wakelet and make it even easier, please let us know, because that's how all the integrations I mentioned now started. For example, with Microsoft, we've probably got the most integrations with them, whether it was OneNote or using Sway or using OneDrive, using Microsoft Teams, any of these can be implemented into Wakelet. We kind of see Wakelet as kind of this place where anything can kind of connect to. For example, Buncee, you may use that's one of people's favorites at the minute. You can create amazing kind of like almost PowerPoints and presentations and slides on there and images. You can add them directly to Wakelet. It now embeds Flipgrid video. So currently and before, you couldn't even you couldn't upload to video to Wakelet. That's something we may offer in the future. But people started to use Flipgrid inside of Wakelet. So what we thought, we spoke to Flipgrid, and their idea was to put the Flipgrid Shorts camera in. So now inside your Wakelet collection, you can actually record your own video directly and embed that into Wakelet as well. I mean, there's a whole host of other tools as well. We've got Screencastify that people use a lot.
Yes.
We're built into their extension. So if you're kind of screen recording, it goes into a Google Drive video, pops straight into Wakelet if you use that extension as well. And yeah, just a whole host of like EdTech tools that we've decided to partner with. On the Google side of it, we did an integration with Google Drive and Google Classroom. So you can share directly to your Google Classroom this amazing content, or you can add directly from your Google Drive with all this amazing content inside and then share it out. Remind, we saw a lot of people were using Remind for newsletters to parents. People used Wakelet for newsletters. So instead of making a site or whatever you usually use, with Wakelet, you create your newsletter inside of a collection with text and content. And then people just wanted an easier way to share to Remind. So we teamed up with them and made a nice integration. One click, you can then send your newsletter out to parents via text. So yeah, I wish I could sit here, Alfonso, and say these are all our ideas from Wakelet, but I can honestly say none of them were. They were all from the community. And honestly, if you have any more ideas of how we can integrate with your favorite EdTech tool, where there's a will, there's a way. We'll find that. If you let us know what you're using it for, what you want to use it for, we will find a way to integrate with that company.
Perfect. And see, and that's what I'm talking about, folks. All of you that are joining us today or that will be watching this video later, just how open Wakelet is to listening to your needs, because they always want to improve their product as well. And going back to some of these partnerships that you mentioned, I mean, one of my favorite things within the Wakelet collections is the immersive reader. I mean, that to me is something that is very valuable, as many students may have some supports that they need. And this is a way that they can go ahead and initialize immersive reader, go in there, change languages. They can go in there and have a dictionary and all that great stuff. And they can hear, you know, any of the text that's in there. So, I mean, I don't know, that just really excites me that you're really breaking down barriers. So language is no longer a barrier. Obviously now collaboration is no longer a barrier. And so what Wakelet is doing and listening to the educator community, like James just finished saying, is taking your ideas and working on those, making them happen. And again, in the end, it's to benefit maybe not only us, obviously, as educators or as professionals, but in the end too, for us that are in education, it's the end all result is going to be always for the kids. And I always point everything for the kids, because in everything that I do in my job to help teachers, in the end, it's going to affect the kids in that positive way. So I just really love, you know, all the partnerships that you're doing, or, you know, working with companies, and the fact that you're listening to, you know, the community members. Now, talk to us a little bit about the community event that just happened this week. I mean, it was, I got to see the beginning of it. It was really lit. You've got the DJs going on. You're building up the hype. We got to see some great stuff all week long. You know, the Twitter feed was just going nuts with the Wakelet Community Event, which is great, because you see there how people have just taken to the platform. Talk to us about that, James. Talk to us about some of what you personally saw were some highlights for you, maybe some things that were really just struck a chord that were like, wow, you know, near and dear to you. You know, share that with us, if you will, please.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was honestly amazing. When we first had the idea, it was, well, at first at Wakelet, like we try and do things different. We try and do things for the community. We didn't want to throw an event about Wakelet itself. We wanted people to be involved in it and be excited about it. And honestly, when the pandemic kind of hit, obviously ISTE was cancelled. We were planning on going to ISTE and throwing a nice kind of party there. A few things I can't say, but we had some big things planned at ISTE. And we were upset. We were gutted that we couldn't see our friends and people we've not seen in the year. People we talk to online all the time. We wanted to see again in real life. And I think, well, I know that's the way the community felt as well. They wanted to see everyone. They wanted to see their friends that they don't get to see all the time. The kind of people who were like-minded, who were excited about tech exactly like them, and excited about learning. So yeah, we had the idea as a team to just to put an event together to celebrate community. One, because it's a pretty bleak time. It can be quite down at the minute with what's going on. A lot of things going on at the minute. So we wanted to kind of throw a celebration and add some positivity to the world at the minute. Bring this global community together, because in Wakelet, our community now reaches over 80 countries. So many different cultures, so many different languages, so many different kind of experiences that each other can share with everyone. So that's what we wanted to bring together as well. And the other thing was just a full week of learning. You'll notice not every single session was about Wakelet. We tried to put a lot about Wakelet to show you kind of how versatile it is. Ambassadors ran those sessions, but we also put some important kind of topics on as well. We have Ken Shelton talking about race and culture. Matt Miller had a very good session as well as Holly Clark. And then we had Rio Ferdinand, who's a soccer player over here in the UK, talking about teamwork. Just something that could kind of, if you go and watch it, you'll see it resonates with people who work in teams, whether that's teachers. Then you also talk a lot about leadership, which is kind of like either admin staff and principals to teachers, or teachers to students, because you are the role models of them. So yeah, the whole week was absolutely amazing, just to see so many people from all around the world join and just be so positive and kind of take time out of the day to learn more, not just about Wakelet, about things and important topics in life as well. And yeah, my credit goes out to everyone who joined it and took time to learn that sort of stuff. I learned a lot for sure. I didn't think it was going to be as a spectacle as it was. It turned out to be an absolutely amazing event. But yeah, at the end of the day, we just try to throw something fun for everyone because we know everyone will be missing out on these events. But yeah, it won't be the last one for sure. It went so well, and hopefully in the near future we'll be able to do something in person as well.
That's excellent. That's wonderful. And but my great friend Rachel from Global GEG is here. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she is definitely writing the Wakelet wave, and she does have this site. And I want to throw this out there because it is a great project or innovative project that she's working on that really has helped me find all of the programs and badges where I can go get a certification, get some accreditation and everything. So she says here that she has a site where I keep all of my EdTech badges, ambassadors and certifications, badged tech. So I'd love to do a special feature when Wakelet brings their new program out.
That'd be amazing.
So definitely. And she is great at sharing those. So Rachel, thank you for joining us. Big shout out to the Global GEG community, all of the new Wakelet Wave writers and some of the ambassadors that are just joining the program from across the pond there in the UK. I don't know if I'm saying this properly, but I'm definitely chuffed to bits that you guys are riding the Wakelet wave. So James, correct me if I did that wrong.
That was completely right. That's correct.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And definitely the Global GEG community is out there to, again, they're sharing the knowledge, going back to what we were talking about, collaboration, bringing these skills to people that might not otherwise know or may not even understand what it is that Google can do, what Wakelet can do, and things of that sort. And we're working on putting things together to share with the community. And this is definitely one of the tools that we definitely love to use and to share. So I know that they're very excited and they're watching, and they'll probably hear the podcast later or watch the video stream later. So that's something that's wonderful. I did pop in a link there in the chat, guys, to the community.wakelet.com, where you can join the community, get some information. You can go ahead and check out the educator site. They've got blogs, things and that you can go and get ideas. If you're not sure what to do, you can get some ideas. And luckily, I have had the privilege, or the honor, I should say, to become a Wakelet blogger. So that was just great. And the fact that one of the projects that I do in working with our schools is to include parents in the learning community to share digital citizenship resources. And so what I do is I started a collection in English and I started a collection in Spanish, because most of the classes that come into our Tech Tuesdays, we've got a mix of English speakers, Spanish speakers, or they can do both. But at least I have a collection for either one, where they can take home, they can read through those articles, get some guidance, get some tips, so they can go ahead and share those tips with their students and with their children, I should say, to make sure that they're keeping safe as they have their online presence or establishing that online presence. So it was great to write a blog about that. But guys, pretty much if you go in there, you're going to get some ideas. Like my friend Carlos Garza also blogged about podcasting. You've got all sorts of things for art, for ELA. You can find pretty much anything and all things. All subjects are covered there. So if you're not quite sure how to start, that's your start right there. Go ahead and check out the blogs, check out the educator community, and definitely follow Wakelet on Twitter, because they've got some great things coming up. And so this is some of the things that I want now James to share with us. He's going to be sharing some of the highlights, some of the things, some of the changes that are coming to the platform. So James, go ahead and share your screen whenever it is that you're ready, so you can share with us all the Wakelet magic here.
Yeah, so what I was going to share actually was just the page of Community Week, just so anyone here, Community Week is over, sadly. I was sad but happy for it to kind of happen, but sad for it to end. And I just got my my screen open here. I just share it with you. It is the page of the Community Week. Can you see that, Alfonso?
There you go.
Yep, perfect. So inside of here, this is the Wakelet profile if you don't already know. And inside of here, we put a little section for day 1 up to day 5, and you'll see all the amazing sessions inside of here. So we've started off kind of like how you can use Wakelet with your students, app smashing, collaboration. You'll see all the amazing topics that were covered. Ken Shelton's session on connecting the community, race and culture was absolutely incredible. I recommend you watch that. And then you can see all the other different topics that were covered, whether it's about Wakelet or another topic in education. You can check them out. But yeah, we put a page together, for example, in here. It contains all the recordings, all the resources that were mentioned in the topic as well in the session. So here we are. You've got the recording, resources, about the speakers as well. You can click through to their Twitter, and some nice tweets we've created as well. So definitely check that out to kind of, continue your learning over the summer. Whenever you want to come back to this will be available forever, completely free as well, of course. So definitely check them out. But yeah, we started off the week with Wakelet Live. So if you didn't see that, we basically celebrated the community for a good 30 minutes, and also announced some new community announcements and some new features, which Alfonso was referencing there. So I don't really have anything to share, Alfonso, but I can go through them. The first one that will be coming kind of soon is real-time to collaboration. So at the moment, when you collaborate, you do sadly have to refresh when people are adding content together. And sometimes when you're in a group of, say, 5 plus 10, it can be not the best experience. So what we have literally coming very soon is the ability to collaborate in real time. So you'll see updates when, say, me and Alfonso collaborating together. I'll see Alfonso added a link. Simple as that, really. You can collaborate in real time. It'll auto-save. It's perfect for collaborating in groups. A few of the other kind of community announcements that are separate to features is we're bringing out a new training center. And kind of as Rachel mentioned then, inside of that, there'll be some new badges that will help you become certified at Wakelet. So we're really excited for that. There'll be links to our webinars in there, some courses in there. So that'll be a really nice area for you to understand Wakelet and kind of go up the levels and earn some badges along the way as well. But the one I'm most excited for is new languages on Wakelet. So one of our first announcements was that we'll be announcing or bringing out kind of cross-platform translation. So currently the site is only in English, but we will bring in translation for German, French, and Spanish. So the whole site, all the buttons will be changed to these 3 languages, or be able to change to these languages, and that will all be done by the community. So we're going to open it up for the community to actually help out with that, translate the whole site for everyone. And that just goes back to what we were talking about before. That was requested a lot. We have a lot of Spanish-speaking, German-speaking, French-speaking users and students. Yes, we have a immersive reader that translates the notes in a collection, but we want to go a step further. We want to make it more accessible, more inclusive, and that's one way we are doing that. And then in the future, if you don't speak those 3 languages or English, don't worry. Like I said, it'll be open to the community to then translate to your language as well, whether you're Hungarian or speak Arabic. Completely up to you. You can help us translate it into your language. And then we do have a few other new features as well. These will be coming over the few months as we come up to the new school year. They will include kind of mostly collaboration. We'll be having collaboration on the apps now. So we have an iOS app, Android app, and iPad. You'll be able to collaborate on that with your students. Again, this was from the community. We know that your students use a lot of devices like iPads and tablets. So we've made it possible for them to collaborate on a device, log in as an anonymous user, which means that they don't have to sign and use credentials. It's super easy for them to join and collaborate with you. Again, real time will be coming out inside of that. There'll also be permissions inside of these collaborative collections. At the moment, when a person joins anonymously, all they can do is add and edit their own work. So they can add content, they can edit it, and they can delete it. However, we know that, say, your PLN could join a collection and all work together. Your colleagues could all work together in a collection. So we want to bring an extra permission, which will be able to make everyone an admin or certain people admins, so they can actually help out with the collection a lot more, change the cover image, add and delete other people's works, edit, make comments, stuff like that. And then the final one, which is kind of like the one that ended the show of Wakelet Live, is Wakelet Spaces. So I won't go into it too much, but it basically will allow you to separate your Wakelet profile into separate profiles. You won't need to set up an extra email or an extra account. It'll be so seamless and allow you to use Wakelet for your personal life in a nice space. You can create an extra space for your professional life. You can then create an extra space for your English class, and then even create a space for a certain project. Literally, you decide. You can make as many spaces as you want. Again, unlimited. We want to keep it unlimited for everyone. But the idea is that we know Wakelet is versatile, and we know that like educators and a lot of people are using Wakelet in many different ways. So we want to make it just even easier for you to separate that, easily navigatable, and inside of those spaces as well, you'll be able to collaborate on a full space. So at the moment, you can collaborate on one collection. Now, if you add a space for your English class, you can invite your students into that space so they can create their own collections in there and also collaborate on the collections. So that'll be a huge one for us. So yeah, keep an eye out for these new features. I'm excited, the team are excited. I know the community are as well. So yeah, just keep an eye out for them.
Yes, for sure. We're definitely excited about that. Now, going back a little bit to, ambassador programs and everything, can you please talk to us a little bit about the student ambassador program? Because I just want to give a shout out to one of our district librarians, Mrs. Prey, at one of our junior highs, and she has started using Wakelet with her library ambassadors. And we had one of her library ambassadors that I believe achieved all the badges that you can get and took all the courses. So, I mean, that is such a great way to introduce your students to Wakelet, to see what they can do and allow them also to just kind of go off on their own and use it as a tool for not only for their work, but also to see how they can use it for their day-to-day personal life and, grow and curate information. Talk to us a little bit about the student ambassador program and why we as educators should promote that, and bring it to our students.
Yeah, of course. I'll even share my screen for this and show you what the course is. So it follows on from our conversation earlier, Alfonso, about the 5 C's. So with Wakelet, obviously we're talking about the 5 C's being creativity, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creation, the 5th one. But in the Wakelet Student Ambassador Program, we've added a 6th badge, which is citizenship. So if we scroll to the top here, the Student Ambassador Program is perfect for your students to become student leaders and gain some really important skills along the way. Those 6 C's are so important for their development. And again, like I said, those 5 C's plus digital citizenship, which we all know is important for students these days. How it works is there's 6 different courses for each of the badges. So for the creativity kind of badge, which is down here, they need to create a flag. So it's to do with kind of what they imagine what a Wakelet community flag would look like. You can put that into any subject. For example, with critical thinking, they have to do a task on choosing the right artifacts. It just goes back to what we were saying before. All the badges are important skills in life. So it's an amazing way for your students to get involved. There's a nice little testimonial video here on the page. And it's just really, really simple to do. There's 6 tasks. Once they do the 6 tasks, they'll get the student ambassador badge. But this is something we wanted to put together just to help students understand that these are important skills and an easy way for educators to bring it into the classroom as well. So all the tasks are set up, but honestly, you can do anything you like with them. They fit into any subject. You can do whatever you like with them. We've just outlined that these are 6 important skills for your students to learn. And we've hopefully made it really easy for you guys to do that.
Excellent. Thank you, James. I really appreciate you sharing that, because honestly, if we can put the power of this kind of power into the students' hands, it's just a great way for them to learn, to be able to do some wonderful things, and just giving them the tools and equipping them for future work. I mean, the technology is not going to go anywhere. We need to embrace the tech, grow along with the tech, and the fact that you guys are growing along with the community as we give you feedback. You guys are helping us out, doing the best we can, so we can always have the best tools on hand, not only for ourselves, but for our students, because in the end result, that is, again, that's always been my target. And now within the job role that I have, my learning community, I'm extending that to my parents as well. So I think some of the features that you are going to be bringing out are going to be useful to help parents learn digital literacy skills, along with the collections that I make for them with the digital citizenship. And then they can start curating their own content and empowering parents, which is something that is wonderful. So I'm really, really excited. And of course, all our viewers that are here today are definitely been very excited. Thank you so much, Stacy, Rachel, Wanda, and everybody else that have been contributing to the conversation and the comments. And of course, James, thank you. Thank you so much. Like, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I most sincerely am thankful for you to join us here on this show, which is something that's been a long time work in progress, a project, I should say. But I'm thankful to get the opportunity to know such wonderful people as yourselves, and to showcase the work that you do, that maybe, and just to tell you that I personally, and I know the rest of the community, appreciate everything that you and the rest of the team do. Sometimes maybe you may not hear that enough, but I'm here to let you know in public that we appreciate everything that you do. And I personally appreciate you for that day in the fall 2018, for those 45 minutes to an hour that I got to do a video chat with you and get to really know you and get to know what Wakelet is about. And, now have grown within the Wakelet community of educators as an ambassador, and, being able to use Wakelet on my day-to-day personally and professionally has definitely been very helpful. So thank you for everything that you do. It does not go unseen. And thank you for all the efforts and the future efforts that you will be applying it to the platform as you get some feedback from from educators, professionals, musicians, and anybody that is starting to use Wakelet. So thank you so much. James, anything else you'd like to share? Any final words, any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you, Alfonso, for obviously inviting me here to talk about Wakelet, and thank you for everyone who's joined us today and who's watching this afterwards. We said kind of yesterday when we were ending Community Week, it was an emotional time because it was such a great week, but we just want to say thank you to everyone for taking part in the week, in using Wakelet and helping us improve it, because without your help or your feedback, Wakelet is just another platform, really. It's a great tool, but without the community, you don't have that content sharing aspect of it. And Wakelet really relies on the community, especially educators. We're not educators ourselves. No one on the team is. That's a little secret for yourselves. But that's why we rely on the community so much. You tell us the feedback. You're using Wakelet with your students, for yourself, with your teachers, with your principals, with your family and friends. So you tell us what you want to see from the platform, and we try and make it happen. So honestly, without the community, without you all using Wakelet, we wouldn't be where we are today, and we wouldn't see all the amazing integrations and examples that we do see. So yeah, huge thank you to everyone, and that includes you, Alfonso. You've been absolutely amazing Wakelet ambassador, sharing so much feedback with us, and honestly, we do really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And again, all our viewers that are here joining us, we're coming down to the end of our show here, but go ahead and follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at TechTeacher1381. You can follow James at JBDBiz, because like I mentioned, he's all about the biz. But guys, seriously, check them out. They've got some great resources. Check out this live stream later on. It will be posted up on My EdTech Life's Wakelet collection along with the podcast. So if you didn't catch the show right now live, you'll be able to replay it on YouTube. So when you go to our channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to all our content that we have available. You'll see more live shows. We've got some great guests lined up as well. Also, go ahead and listen to us on our podcast. We're on Anchor. We're on pretty much all the podcast distributors that are out there, but you'll see the Wakelet collection pop up in just a second with the podcast audio. Again, James, thank you so much for joining us all the way from the UK on this beautiful morning here in my neck of the woods in Texas. And I know it's a beautiful kind of rainy afternoon over there in the UK at the moment, but thank you so much for being here and sharing everything, guys. So guys, thank you, everybody. You all have a wonderful day and stay techie, my friends.